Ajá.
Dice que mejoré la escalabilidad y usabilidad del 7 web apps en un como pipeline, o sea, como de inicio a fin, o sea, desde el diseño hasta armar todo ese proceso.
Ajá.
En un mercado rápido de fintech, experta en prototipos finos y lógicos.
Finos.
Es que no sé cómo decirlo, high end, se dice en inglés.
High end.
Como,
¿De punta?
ajá,
¿O vanguardistas?
creo que sería de que alta,
Alto final.
¿dónde?
Alto final.
Alta fidelidad.
No sé qué sea high end.
Es como muy bien hecho,
¿Cómo?
muy bien hecho.
Oh, como gama alta.
Ajá,
Oh, suena bien.
de alta fidelidad. Sí.
Fidedignos.
Es que tenemos igual en diseño como diferentes tipos de entregables o
Ah,
sea,
sí.
la baja fidelidad, media fidelidad, ya, o sea, dependiendo del tipo de versión, puedes comprar el por ejemplo, de baja fidelidad.
Deberían de inventar el mayor, el más top, que sea IMAX.
IMAX Sites son los que se crean juegos en Figma, pero esos son los IMAX.
Los juegos en Figma,
Ah,
con lógica y
ah,
todo, ¿no?
sí,
Wow, eso está muy difícil.
saca el nuevo tipo.
Igual lo hacen con HTML.
Solo HTML, igual.
Solo HTML. No sé qué cosa de programación tiene HTML que puede hacer juegos con solo HTML.
No hay que le puedes meter JavaScript o sin JavaScript.
Sin JavaScript. Tiene alguna condición que es. Tiene algo que es una condición.
Ok.
O que puedo usar como condición. He visto que lo utilicen, solamente no he visto el código tal cual, pero sí se puede.
Ah, ok, está interesante.
Sí.
Bueno, me puse experta en high-end logical prototypes. Te voy a leer en inglés.
Ajá.
Led the production of an in-store VR catalog. Unity.
Ajá.
Performance and wear motion system implementation. Made UI production 50% faster by refactoring layouts. Redesigned the design system, collaborated with UX and front team to hand off easier. And proposed collaborating with proposed Figma MCP plus Cloud workflows to get pixel perfect components.
Hay que echarle ganas a eso para que en vez de proponer ya puedas poner como implementación o algo así.
Sí.
Sí, porque así propose no suena tan padre, la verdad.
Ok. Sí, porque es como, bueno, solo se ve de seguimiento.
Sí.
Pero que hago, o sea, todavía estoy en el proceso de...
Está muy difícil. ¿Cómo es? ¿Qué es? ¿Cómo es? ¿Cloud con Figma, algo así?
Sí.
Claude, ¿no?
Sí.
Every time a designer hands you a Figma file, you're basically a human OCR machine, a simple card component that sits. Before we start, let's make sure you have the prerequisites. First, you'll need to install Claude Code. The command is npm install -g at anthropic-ai/Claude Code. Second, you'll need a dev or full seat Figma account with at least one design file. I have an account sign-up card, which I will use for this demo. Third, you'll need a project where the code needs to be generated. I have a React MUI app where a sign-up page needs to be implemented. Now to get started, we need to enable the Figma MCP server. As of this recording, you can only enable it in the desktop app. Open Figma, click the menu in the upper left, go to Preferences, and enable Dev Mode MCP server. This spins up a local server on port 3845. Now for the Claude Code part, open your terminal and run this single command. That's it, you're now connected to your Figma files. To test the connection, run the command cloud mcp list. You should see the Figma dev mode mcp server in the list. Alright, now that our list, you should, to test the connection, run the command cloud mcp list. You should see the Figma dev mode mcp server in the list. Alright, now that our setup is complete, it's time for the fun part. Let's convert this sign-up card design to code with AI. Copy the link to the design in Figma and paste it into Claude Code with your prompt. Convert this sign-up card design to code and paste that link. Press enter and Claude will get to work. If you take a look at the code that is generated, you can see it's reusing the MUI components, and the code written is pretty close to what a good developer would have written. If you take a look at the UI, it's a really good starting point. The combination of Claude Code and if you take a look at the UI is pretty close to what a good developer would have written. If you take a look at written is pretty close to what a good developer would have written. If you take a look at the UI, it's a really good starting point. The combination of Claude Code and the Figma MCP look at the UI, it's a really good starting point. The combination of Claude Code and the Figma MCP server is pretty cool, but there are some practical considerations for production workflows. Let's take a look at some of the limitations. First, Claude Code is great at generating new components from scratch, but it's not great at updating existing components. If you make a change to the design and request the code to be updated, Claude tries to generate the entire component again. In this process, it ends up making Claude tries to generate the entire component again. Design and request the code to be updated, Claude tries to generate the entire component again. In this process, it ends up making incorrect functional changes to the code. Second, sharing multiple Figma links is not supported with the MCP server. If you have a design with multiple states, you need to convert each Figma frame individually, then prompt Claude Code again to combine them into an interactive component. Each step means more tokens, more time, and careful coordination of how the pieces fit together. Third, it's not possible to iterate on the generated output visually. If you want to adjust that padding or tweak the hover state, you can keep prompting. But AI can only understand so much from screenshots, and you'll just burn through tokens without getting what you want. And finally, this is limited to developers since the entire workflow lives in the command line. While this might seem fine at first, it means you become the bottleneck for every change. Every A/B test variant from your PM, every "can we make this text bigger" request from marketing is. At Builder, we've been tackling this same design to code problem from a different angle. Claude Code shows that AI can generate good code from designs, but all the limitations come from one root cause. We're forcing a visual, collaborative process into a text-based single-player workflow. That's why we built Fusion, which reimagines design to code as a visual experience that generates code. Instead of regenerating code every time, Fusion actually understands your design system. When you sync changes from Figma, it only updates the visual properties. Your React logic, your use state hooks, your API calls all stay intact. And remember the carousel problem? Well, in Fusion, you just drop all 3 frames at once and ask for it to implement the carousel. It automatically recognizes the patterns and generates a complete working carousel component in one shot. What's awesome is, unlike other tools, after code generation, you can adjust the design visually while the code updates in real time. If it looks perfect in Fusion, it looks perfect in production because it's the same code. And if you're working with a team, Fusion lets other team members handle their own changes while you tackle the interesting engineering problems. Designers import their Figma designs through a visual interface and see how exactly they will render in production. PMs can create working prototypes using your actual components. Marketing teams can finally build landing pages and make content changes without requesting developer time. Every change
¿No quieres que mañana temprano intentemos setearlo? Lo podemos instalar acá porque en teoría ya tengo... Déjame